Hello and welcome back to another DA42 by COWS Simulations short video. As you can see, the DA42 is currently sat on the taxiway here, and we are currently idling after starting the engines and all the systems. Now what I'm going to demonstrate for you in a bit more detail in this video is the rather unique run-up system that we use here in the DA42, and this is part of the real aircraft. So if we move into the cockpit, a little brief description. If you have propeller-driven aircraft, you will do a run-up, a mag test, a propeller pitch range, high throttle setting. You know, you basically want to push the engine to about 2000 RPM normally, test the mags over left and right mags, and basically cycle the propeller pitch to check the engine's running in a correct and free and proper style. Well, in the DA42, and I know I've done this in the first video of the flight, I showed this off, the DA42 is a little bit different because the DA42 is very futuristic. It has a lot more technology on inside. So we don't have propeller pitch, it's automatic. We don't have a mixture control, it's automatic. We have the twin throttle setups, but we do not have the ability to do anything else. So an engine run-up is a little bit different. We actually don't even have mags because we just have the master for the left engine and the master for the right engine and the start switch or start key. So we don't have any of the normal stuff we would use for a normal run-up. So what we would be doing, and you can imagine like we are now, currently sat on the taxiway or sat in a parking position, engines are idling at about 700 RPM, and we're waiting for our gearbox temperature to go into the green. Now, you cannot do a run-up in a DA42 Twin Star unless the gearbox engine oil temperature is in the green, and as we are, we've just got into the green there. Now, how do you get to that information? Well, if you was sat on this screen here, you have obviously your main screen, which is related to your map position, but on here we have engine parameters, and at the moment, if the main screen here, it's actually set for the oil temperatures, oil pressures, coolant temperatures, fuel temp, and fuel quantity. Plus you've also got your RPM and your load bars above here. Now what you can do is click on the engine tab and click on the system tab, and we move over to the gearbox section. That's what we're paying attention to here. Again, it's two little tabs, obviously because we have a left engine and a right engine. So basically we need to have these in the green. The temperatures will be in the white here for the coolant in the gearbox, and basically if it's in the yellow, you should not be running the engines under any kind of load or high load, and certainly not doing an engine run-up test. So as like I say, we are all in the green. So we will put that back over to the normal main screen. What we're going to do, we're going to taxi out. Like I say, this is a short video, we're just going to demonstrate the engine run-up position in a little bit more detail. So parking brake's coming off, and let's just roll forward a little bit. Don't worry about any of the bongs, we're not going to be flying in this aircraft at the moment. So we're just going to position ourselves out the way. In fact, we'll be a courteous pilot, and we shall position the aircraft so that any backdraft will be directed straight behind us. So parking brake is set, and as you can see, we have nothing sat behind us. So the only warnings we need to worry about are the pitot heat and stall warning. Again, this is obviously the pitot heat switch here. If I engage that, the pitot heat switch warning will go out. Stall heat warning will go out as well, but it will come back because the aircraft is not moving. So we're not going to worry about that so much. We're, like I say, interested in the engine run-up. So engine run-up is done through this section just here, and it is the ECU test system. So if I stop TrackIR from moving around so much, as I've said in the previous video, we have two ECU buses on each engine, an A system and A system and a B system. So this will be the left engine, that's the right engine. That's for the left engine, that's for the right engine. It's quite a simple system. If the engine's running happy. It can run on ECU A, it can run on ECU B, and as a proper normal flying parameters, we will be setting it to the automatic system. So if the aircraft detects it's got an issue with the engines, it will automatically switch to another ECU. So you have two chances of keeping the engine communicating electronically. I would go into more detail about the ECUs, but I can imagine it being quite complicated. So anyway, to test the ECU, we have these two buttons. And the joys of Flight Simulator is I only have one mouse button. So what we're looking for is a little click spot in the middle here, which you can just see the mouse icon changing. And we will click and hold with the left mouse button, and on here will come up the ECU buses as they are being tested. So if we actually move this over a little bit, what we're looking for, obviously the buttons, the messages are going to pop up into here because it's going to start testing different ECUs, and we're going to see the RPM cycle up and down, the load come up and down as the engines are put into high power. It's automatically going to set the prop pitch and run through the whole different settings of the engine. You're going to see all this come alive. So we'll ignore that one as well. I don't know why that keeps popping up. So anyway, like I say, left hand click. The RECU fail buttons come up. Prop pitch has gone 1860 and comes back down, goes back up again, and comes back down. That's a normal run it set once, and we normally do a second run. And that is all you have to do an engine run-up in a DA42. You know, when you have a single-engined aircraft and you basically, you know, you have to do all these different, if I can center this up a little bit more, you have all these different options you have to do. You have to do the throttle pitch yourself, the pitch yourself, you have to do all the magneto checks yourself. We don't have magnetos. We do have magnetos in the aircraft. We don't have any controls over them. It's a very simple system. So I'm hoping that goes into a little more detail of just how good this aircraft is. It is a fantastic aircraft and true study level version of the Twin Star. Once again, thank you very much for seeing this video, and I hope you found it fascinating, and I'm going to show some of the more interesting parts of this aircraft in a few more DA42 short videos.